All right, Shalom. First and foremost, giving all praise, glory, and honor that's due to Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachakwadash, and double honor to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect, and Shalom to the brothers out there preaching on the highways and byways in sincerity and true Shalom Barakatam. Gonna go into a little bit of news and prophecy here. The title of this, and I haven't really watched the full video, but this is a guy, a YouTuber named Sean Fu. He's a I believe he's a Moabite, if I'm not mistaken. And you can see the title. It says, U.S.-Saudi deal crumbles. Iran returns deadly warning. Oil erupts higher. All right. And, you know, we love to go into prophecy and why, and to show you why these things that sound kind of exciting, but you know, you kind of feel like you hear it all the time. We're here to show you why it's important and why it's important to watch and to keep watching. All right. And, you know, we get it that it sounds like these things are ramping up and then they're cooling back down and then they're heating up again and they're cooling back down. And, you know, and because you want this thing to end, you know, but nevertheless, we got to keep watching. That's written. I'm going to get that, actually start off with that. Habakkuk 2. Before I let this video play, I'm gonna skip through some of it. I'm not gonna react to the entire 13-minute video or however long it is. Habakkuk 2, chapter 1. I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. And the Lord Yahweh answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. All right, and that's what we're doing. All right, that's a commandment to the prophets to watch and warn. All right, and it says, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. So that goes back to the feeling that the men that will be hastening the day would go through, man. You're like, damn, when is it going to end? Oh, hear it up. It's got to be it. And then you're like, oh, no, that ain't it. You know, and, you know, Apostle Tahar had to basically remind, you know, everybody, which we knew already, but, you know, you get so excited that hey, look, listen, the Karagma prophecy has to come to pass first. All right. But that doesn't mean we're not close, because that Karagma prophecy can happen rapido, man. All right, let's listen to what this guy's got to say. And the fact that the U.S.-Saudi deal is crumbled, that just shows you Esau is through. He's out of here, man. Yeah, it's literally a matter of time. All he can do is kick the bucket down the road, you know.
It's like things are getting worse with each passing day, and we are at the doorstep of economic Armageddon, and maybe a literal one as well. So there are breaking updates that I want to share with you all, and it concerns America's
literal one as well. Yeah,
it involves the oil markets and how everything is pointing towards.
And when he says literal Armageddon, they will be going to war behind this U.S. dollar. When it all crumbles, they're gonna go to war over it, man. Esau doesn't have any other mechanism to maintain his hegemony. All right, the U.S. military bases are not enough. This is not the ancient Roman Empire, where you can kind of keep things in order for a longer period of time, because you didn't have the entire world to worry about. All right. You can't police the borders and all the backdoor deals that are being cut between each nation now. All right. You can't lock down borders and cities. And now there's cell phones, there's the internet. You know, you can't track everybody and what everybody's doing now. It's gotten away from him. All right. And he got proud. All right. So that military, it's really not enough. It's nowhere close to enough. It's really the threat. And really only the smaller nations were threatened. But the scriptures say, let the weak say I'm strong. I'm going to get that.
Massive inflation. So this Middle East crisis is going to shake the foundations of the world order, and you quickly see that sides are already being chosen. And for today, we have to focus on the two biggest players in the Middle East, Saudi Arabia as well as Iran. And in our lead story today, Saudi Arabia puts Israel deal on ice amidst the conflict and engages with Iran. And this is a
Mm-hmm.
big deal. There are even reports that Saudi Arabia has told the United States that a normalization deal is off.
And see the history between the Saudis and the Iranians, or the Iraqis and the Iranians, with the Sunni and Shia. That's how they've had them divided all this time, man. We've always, the Americans have always had the sides of the, I forget which one the Saudis are, but they've always had the side of the Saudis, man. But now you're starting to see those Arabic nations. All right, they're starting to work with each other now. You see, that's what's going on. All right. And Iran, they were not a strong nation 50 years ago, man. But they are now. They have nuclear capabilities now. All right. Joel chapter 3, verse 9, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong, man. So they're going to go from being in an agricultural state, what you call a developing country, all right, which is what India is, emerging markets and developing countries like India, and what China was just 20, 30 years ago. China is no longer a developing country. They're a superpower now, man. All right. Regardless of how Esau wants to spend it on paper with GDPs and all that. No, China is producing hella resources, natural resources coming out of there, man. Hella manufacturers, goods, service, and products. They're making a lot of it, man. All right. And the way America has controlled everything is by controlling the energy or the oil, the things that's required to make cities and buildings and have militaries. It's all oil based. And so Esau's controlled the oil all of this time. And that's how he's been able to really control the world. All right. But see, people are getting around it now. See, Iran has hella oil, man. And so does Saudi Arabia. And as long as we have to deal with Saudi Arabia, all we had to do is make sure Iran didn't deal too fruitfully with anybody else. And that's what they've done with sanctions, you know. But the weak has said, I'm strong now. Let's keep listening.
And if you sit back and you think about it, that's the only card the Saudis can play at this moment. They have issued a statement that showed concern for the other side, trying to normalize any relations now with Israel. Just doesn't make sense. And if you read into the statement by Jake Sullivan, he is trying to desperately justify this pause by calling it not formal, and the focus is now helping Israel. Now that's all fine and dandy, but this tells us that America really wants the deal. They need the deal to go through to retain influence in the Middle East, but because of the conflict, their plan has been derailed. They have essentially lost the only bargaining chip left with the Saudis that might prevent them from joining BRICS in 2024. They have also lost more influence in trying to get the Saudis to pump more oil to bring inflation down as well. And it's very interesting that Saudi Arabia was even considering pumping more oil to seal the deal. But whether that was genuine or not, or simply a rumor, it really doesn't matter anymore. The OPEC oil cuts are here to stay. Over 1 million barrels per day of Saudi oil has left the markets all the way to 2024. And there's no good reason left for.
Yeah, you see, and when Saudi goes into the BRICS, that's another nail in the coffin, man. All right. That basically shows you the policies of this place are foolish, man. All right. This is Isaiah 19th chapter. All right. And I'll just start at 11. All right. It says, surely the princes of Zoan, which is a city out of Egypt, all right, are fools. The counsel of the wise counselors of Pharaoh is become brutish. All right. Because they told you that putting sanctions on 40% of the global population was going to get everybody in line. They're going to put, well, no, it did for a moment, for a particular period of time. But under their breath, they've been scheming a way to get from underneath you, man. That's what BRICS is all about. It says, how say ye unto Pharaoh, I am the son of the wise. the son of ancient kings. All right. It says, where are they now? Where are thy wise men? Exactly. Y'all were so smart. You painted yourself into a corner. All right. You printed money. There's no way out. There's no way out of this economic situation, man. People are gonna starve to death. There's no way. There's no way to undo it. You've already climbed up to the 120th floor, man. You know, there isn't gonna be any amount of cushion. All right, that's gonna break the fall, man. You're out of there. All right. It says, where are the wise men? And let them tell thee now, and let them know that the Lord Yahweh of hosts had purposed upon Egypt, man. All right. See, they thought the Nord Stream pipeline going down was going to destabilize the relationship between Germany and Russia, when really it's just going to strengthen it, man. They still need energy. When they get to brick coal out there in the UK and all throughout Europe, what do you think they're going to do, man? They're going to pay 4 times the price to get it from America? Hell no. All right. So this thing is crumbling, man. It's coming apart. All right. By the stupidity of Esau, man. His rulership is wicked as hell, man. It's devoid of wisdom. You see? He made you think that modern monetary theory and fiat currencies and high finance, that stuff all takes a lot of intelligence to do and understand. All right. But ultimately, when you look at the inner wisdom of it, it's void of wisdom. They're trading around a bunch of debt instruments, betting on shit with money they don't have. All right. You know? It says in verse 13, the princes of Zoan are become fools. The princes of Noph are deceived. They have also seduced Egypt, even they that are the stay of the tribes thereof. The Lord Yahweh hath mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and they have caused Egypt to err in every work thereof, as a drunken man staggereth in his own vomit, man. All right? I'm going to get that word perverse. Let me see. Ayam. Distorting, perverting, or warping. All right. So you can see that's what's going on here, man. All right. And it's not just in the money situation. It's in social issues, family, anything important. Esau has perverted it, man. But not to keep going on a rant here. Let's see what else he has to say. And I'm gonna skip to this Iran returns the warning part. See.
For MBS to save the global oil markets by increasing production, right? Especially if the conflict is starting to spread and potentially involve Iran. And that's why Blinken was sent scrambling to Saudi Arabia to talk with MBS. Now, they definitely talk about Israel, but I'm quite sure the normalization deal and oil were on the agenda. And this is where things took a turn for the worse, at least for the United States. During the meeting, MBS was focused on finding a peaceful solution, which included lifting the Israeli blockade. Now, we know the chances of that aren't very high. The evacuation order has already been issued, so it's just a matter of time. So this whole situation is simply a big test of America defending the existing world order that they helped to create, and things are not looking good at all. And let's recall the losses America had. First, there was the botched withdrawal from Afghanistan. We can't forget that. Then BRICS expanded to include Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and Iran. The big oil giants, they joined the economic bloc outside of the G7, and this is a big deal.
Yes, the big oil block, man. Do you know how much that oil, if you add up percentage wise, how much oil is between Saudi, the UAE, Iran, and Russia? It's probably close to 3/4, man, of all of the oil. All right. Because although places like Venezuela have a lot of oil, they don't have the refineries. They don't have a good way of getting it out of the ground. And they're years away. By the time they get that oil out of the ground, all hell's broken loose with gas prices and everything, man. You know? You see? So now they're joining BRICS. What does that mean? Uh-oh. This is Obadiah 1 and 7. It says, all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee. All right. And prevailed against thee. And pretty soon the G7, the Lord going to break that up, man. All right. That's Daniel, the 2nd chapter, 2 and 44, I believe. And I'm going to get that in Revelation 17. All right. The Lord gonna break up the G7, the G20. All of these nations are through, man. They really don't even like each other, despite them being these Edomites being of the same stock. They're all divisive warlords, man. All right. They're greedy. They don't know how to rule. All right. They have no foresight. There's no incentive to live in their policies, man. All right. Life is just a game to them. And whoever scores the most points win. No, man. You see? The scriptures say that when the righteous are in authority, Salakia, when the wicked rule, the people mourn, man. And when the righteous in authority, vice versa, the people rejoice, man. Roughly paraphrasing that scripture. In Proverbs, it says, they that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. How do they do that? Because America has a tiny, tiny amount of oil reserves. As a matter of fact, Joe Biden can burn through it in a few months. So they've been relying on these oil from overseas, not having anything to stand up there. So basically, America is not in control of its own oil prices, man. Which means they're not in control of their gas prices. And just wait when gas gets hit with that super inflation Kamehameha, man. That's gonna really hurt everybody, man. That's down to the fundamental, from the greatest to the least. Gas prices affect everybody. It affects the woman going to work her job at the bar. All right. Minimum wage workers, the diesel trucks. It even impacts billionaires, their flights. All right. Because they fly private and do all of these things. All of it is going to touch everybody, man. All right. There are certain areas of the economy that are critical, man. And diesel fuel is one of them, too. Diesel being a main one, man. Diesel goes down, man. A lot of people are just going to straight up starve to death because a lot of food is trucked in thousands, hundreds, and thousands of miles away. All right. Through 18-wheelers, through the interstate. That's how a lot of famine's going to go down. All right. Verse 8. Shall I not in that day, saith the Lord Yahweh, even destroy the wise men out of Edom? All right. So these wise men are being found out to be stupid, man. Weak and wicked, man. All right. It's just an understanding out of the mount of Esau. All right.
Then we have the Iran-Saudi peace deal, the one that China brokered, right? And all these are economic and diplomatic losses. It is in America's best interest to ensure this conflict doesn't get out of hand, or else two things will happen. And the first will be a draining away of trust in the US as a peacemaker that can solve problems in the Gulf. And it seems that they are losing on that front. And according to US officials, the conflict could widen beyond Israel. We have growing clashes along the northern border with Lebanon, and that could be another front opening, which is a horrendous development. So the top brass in America, they are freaking out about potential spread. They are losing control of the region, and that leaves them with two impossible choices.
Oh.
Either they withdraw and they let the Gulf sort themselves out, or they double down on the current plan, and either choice is going to be a disaster. So if they withdraw and they simply leave, it will be on a scale worse than Afghanistan, and all the security promises will now ring hollow. No one will trust the security agreements with the US anymore, especially the Saudis. But if they continue tripling down the supply,
you see, because the deal with the petrodollar was security. That was the deal. You print You produce a lot of oil for us, all right, and only trade it with the U.S. dollar, and in exchange, we will offer you security in the region. We'll stabilize you. All of those wars, the wars that they're doing over there in Yemen, that's all because the U.S. was able to fund them and give them military aid, man. Make sure people like Iran doesn't attack them. But see, that's all crumbling now. Nobody trusts the security of America anymore because their credibility's shot, man. And now you're starting to see, the state of Israel might be getting attacked from the north side as well, too, man. All right. And this is beautiful, man. We love this. All right. This happened to us once upon a time. This is that same spirit coming back to Esau now, but I'll read Jeremiah 4. In 29, it says, the whole city shall flee for the noise of the horsemen and bowmen. They shall go into thickets and climb up on the rocks. Every city shall be forsaken, and not a man dwell therein. And when thou art spoiled, what wilt thou do? Though thou clothest thyself with crimson, though thou deckest thee with ornaments of gold, though thou rentest thy face with painting, in vain shall thy make thyself fair. All right. So this happened to us. All right. But now we see that with Esau now, man. All that money printing you did, all of that showboating, American exceptionalism, they call it. For what, man? For people to see you for what you really are, which is the devil. All right. Not to say that they're right. These are heathen, but everyone sees you now. All right. That's also a promise that you would be made bare. It says, thy lovers will despise thee. They will seek thy life, man. And the scripture said the curses that came up on Jacob would come up on Esau. All right. So everybody that you're in cahoots with, they're going to betray you, man. They already have. Like the CIA and all of them, if they were to publish everything that they know, Esau already knows everyone's turned against him already. Now he's in damage control trying to keep it together. You see?
This is going to cost so much financially, and this conflict could push America and the world into recession. And those are just the economic impacts. So what's America really going to do? It is a trap no matter where they turn. And listen to this headline from Bloomberg. Deal between US, Saudi, Israel, UAE can contain Iran nuclear program. And it gets much clearer why we could be in this situation today. And with the Saudis now actively engaging with the Iranians, it's a diplomatic disaster for America's Middle East ambitions. But something interesting also happened over the week. Saudi Arabia has publicly defended China's Belt Road Initiative during the IMF conference in Morocco. They're actively defending China's lending to developing countries. That is a game changer. It is a slap to the face of America, which keeps calling the loans a Chinese debt trap. China stepped up when people actually fled away from Africa. China built infrastructure that they cannot carry with them to China. It will actually be in Africa. China took the risk when people didn't want to take the risk. He's calling for love and understanding for China. He's calling for solutions instead of the constant demonization. And to the United States, this is an economic nightmare scenario. So just think of the consequences if things continue to destabilize under America's watch. The Middle East will move closer towards China and the BRICS. It's basically a collapse of US leadership. And this collapse is accelerating fast. I think we all remembered Biden's warning to Iran. He told the Iranians to be careful, whatever that meant, right? But now Iran has reversed the situation with their own scary warning. They have given a warning to Israel if they decide to move in from the ground. And this is a warning of regional escalation that we can't take lightly. It's really bone-chilling, and all I can say is that the consequences will plunge the Middle East into chaos. If you think the economic pain we felt from Russia-Ukraine was bad, it is nothing compared to the coming eruption if things keep spiraling down. In a telephone conversation with Qatar, the Iranian president mentioned how no one can guarantee that the situation will be under control and the scope of the conflict won't expand.
Yeah. In other words, it's through. All right. This is James, the 5th chapter. All right. Go to now verse 1, go to now, you rich man, weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you. Your riches are corrupted, and your garments are moth-eaten. Your gold and silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you, and shall eat your flesh as it were fire. You have heaped treasure together for the last days, and everybody knows that the US dollar is just a Ponzi scheme. They know that the gold isn't there because Russia and China's been buying up all the gold. All right. They're going along with it, but they know there's no future in America, man. America's being spoiled, man. All right. Just like you read in Obadiah 1:7. All right. It says, behold, the hire of the laborers who have reaped down your field, which is of you, kept back by fraud, crieth. Why? Because you charge $40,000 for childbirth, man. You see? The average man is living paycheck to paycheck and will never own anything. He'll work his whole life with his bank balance never going over $500 for decades and then have nothing to show for it, man. All right. And it says, and the cries of them which have reaped and entered into the ears of the Lord Sabaoth. All right. It says, ye have lived in pleasure on the earth. All right. And been wanton, ye have nourished your hearts as in a day of slaughter. So you're the fat ram that ate too much. All right. And now you're talking shit. And now you're a liability now, man. You know? It's like the video of that police officer, big fat police officer, couldn't chase down a dope fiend, man. He tried to get the man that was filming it outside of his house to catch him, man. But you're a police officer. You're supposed to be in shape, man. All right? Why is the world paying you to secure them and you can't even do sit-ups, man? That's how America is now, man. This security agreement that you've had, the world police, as he likes to be, that is over with, man. All right. I was gonna skip over. Let me go. Well, actually, yeah, I went to the point that I wanted. Let me see.
This happens together with the Hormuz block. There's another supply shock that not many people are talking about. If this happens together with the Hormuz block, that inflation will spike to the moon. Let's head back to the nautical map again. Does this look familiar? Well, it's the Suez Canal located in Egypt, which is...
And one thing brothers may not know is that Egypt is on the list to join BRICS now, man. They're saying, no, we're not dealing with this Gaza Strip nonsense. They're on the list to join BRICS. Now, look at this shipping lane. What happens when they join BRICS, man? And they control one of the busiest pathways in the world for trade, man. All right. See, they really inherited the pipeline that King Solomon had a long time ago, man. He had this through here all the way throughout around. He had that whole thing locked up, man. They've inherited that. There's a lot of money coming through there, man. You see? What happens when they get in BRICS, man? You're out of there. You're through.
Is next to Israel. Egypt is already starting to reinforce their border with troops just in case things spill over. The danger of any disruption here goes beyond just the oil markets. Yes, European oil and gas supplies will get delayed. Ships will have to go around Africa to bring energy to the EU. But we are talking about cargo ships carrying consumer goods as well. Those are going to be delayed. Your Amazon purchases, the stuff that you bought online is going to be delayed. And that means extra cost to swing shipments around the world. And this is literally an economic disaster waiting to happen. If the conflict spreads all the way to Egypt, the Suez Canal could be impacted in a very negative way. And there's also the Chinese variable, right? Let's not forget that China has been importing a ton of Iranian oil over the past 10 years. We can see volumes have been increasing over the past 2 years. China is now bringing in 1.5 million barrels of Iranian oil for their domestic consumption. China needs that oil to grow their industries. And if that gets disrupted, China could take a hit, which will slow down the global economy even further.
And see, that's what Esau is hoping to do. But all of these nations are against you, man. You know? I'll give this precept here, and to make this too long already, close out. This is Revelation 17 and 16, speaking about the 10 horns, which are the 10 Edomite tribes, basically, or nations. Okay, coming out of the Roman Empire. All right, that are today have different names like Germany and Rome, Slovakia, Germany and Italy and France, and different borders. But just know that these are the 10 nations that made up the beast, the original one, man. All right. And when it said his deadly wound was healed, all right, they basically came back circa the 1400s. All right, under the Holy Roman Empire. All right, the Roman Catholic Empire. All right, they all got together to try to subjugate the world, but now they're turning on each other. This is Revelation 17 and 15. It says, "And he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest where the whore sitteth are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore." All right, the whore being America, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. All right. It says, verse 17, "For the Most High hath put in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of the Most High shall be fulfilled." All right. So the Lord put it in their spirit to give their nations unto the beast, man. All right. This is all Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai is doing, man. All right. Verse 18, "And the woman which thou sawest is that great city, which reigneth over the kings of the earth." All right. So that's what he's talking about, man. America's out of there. And when they burn her with fire, they're talking about nukes, okay? You will get touched here, okay? All right. So with that, I'll end it there. Lord willing, this was edifying. Call halal Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai B'Hashem Rachak Wadash Wa Abba Babal Shalom.